Today we have Hatem, like Hatem from Canada, and who's originally from Algeria, from the same country as me. And like he's the founder and CTO of Inboundr. Inboundr like is like a content creation tool plus like AI agent kind of. There's tons of great stuff like we can talk about. Hatem, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Abdurrahman. Thanks for having me.
That's awesome. Like so, directly, like, can you give us a brief introduction about yourself, about like Inboundr, about what you guys doing, and
Great. I'm Hatem. I'm CTO and co-founder of Inboundr. Inboundr is a content creation tool that we built for for founders and marketers who want to apply the founder-led and marketing on LinkedIn. That's the main reason why we built it. Now it's much bigger than that.
yeah, that's awesome. Like, and Hatem, like, I think the Inbounder is not your first product. So, like, can you tell us a little bit more about your story, what you built before, and how it come kind of you end up building Inbounder?
Great question. Actually, we my first I built around 4 or 5 startups right until now. I did all the mistakes that technical founder will do. So my first, startup was mostly focused on product. We built the best product and absolutely no sales or no marketing. So obviously it failed. Uh, and then probably most of the technical people did that mistake. And then I said, like, maybe I need a sales guy in my team. So this time I didn't found only with technical people. I also bring a sales guy, and he actually is still he's the CEO of Inbound right now. That's the second startup. It was a homemade an Uber for homemade food. So we deliver homemade food on the Ottawa city. It was successful until the government call us and tell us that we risk a fine. So we stopped everything and we switched it to Inbound just because of that.
That's a great story. Like, just like when you mentioned, like it was like 5 startups of build. Like, it remind me like that question. Like, we always like, how many domains you have? Like, how many domain names you have? Like, just for
So many. I have around 35 right now, and I
oh
probably
god,
need. Yeah,
oh, like
I, I,
whenever.
I tried a lot. What I mentioned, it was what's public. What's not public. All the tools I tried to build. Tried to build no code solutions. I tried to build um, so many stuff like VR. 2018, 19. I built VR application to help you pitch better. At that time, I was learning French and English, so I had difficulties on expressing myself on public. So that was why I built it. So every time I face an issue, I try to build a solution for it. That's technical people's mind. This is how we approach life. Yeah.
That's absolutely like, I mean, the right concept. Like, I mean, or for example, as a CTO or like a technical person, but also like as in, I think you also like sometimes it leads you to some mistakes. I think you mentioned one of them, like you have to solve other people problem. Like if you build something like without marketing it, so it's not just about marketing. Marketing mainly is not just to sell, but also like to discover what people want. So can you tell me like how, for example, you end up like building Inbounder, or like what was like kind of the phase that led you to this?
Yeah, so actually, my co-founder Sean is a ghostwriter. He used to ghostwrite for his company, all the directors of the company he used to work for. And it turns out that that's the only thing that can bring sales in 2025, 2024 even. So that shift started like 2 years ago after COVID, and we actually what company realized that ads don't work anymore. People hate ads. Cold calls, nobody answered them. Cold emails, nobody answered them. And actually, what's left is content creation, podcasts like this one, posting regularly, showing up, building a personal brand. And with that personal brand, people trust you and buy from you. And that's actually the only thing in marketing that guarantee results and with low cost. That's why we started it. And so when Sean detected that ghostwriting, especially on LinkedIn, is very is very demanding and it's not scalable. If you have a ghostwriter, he may write for like one, two, three people in your team, but to scale it for like big organization, do it at scale, that's the hardest part. Because you don't want all your team to sound exactly the same. You want to give them templates.
Yeah.
You want them to be really authentic. That's what people engage with them, right? So that's what we did. A tool that can help you create authentic content, not just for like the company, but for every person in your company will get authentic content, and which is very adapted to his, lifestyle, his culture, and all that.
That's great. When you mentioned about like authentic content, like there's a because we are a lot of people. There's a lot of content creators. I create content, and each person think we are. Like sometimes I feel like I become a parrot, like because like for me, I'm like a like it's kind of like this is one news. Let's say one news pop up, and then like each person try to talk about it, and each person try to. I try to also to sound authentic, but a lot of people talk it. Like sometimes I just ask ChatGPT, like, can you just rephrase it? Can you just not sound like other person? And that lead me to the next question. The next question you said, I think for Inbounder, it has beside like creating content, also like discovering content, AI agent, and can you tell us more details about this?
So actually, this is very important. Like most people who started creating content, their problem is not really writing; it's really finding the ideas. They may write one post, two posts, three posts, and then they will struggle on finding more ideas that are authentic, as you said. And sometimes you just like do what, like check what other people are doing. Everyone is sharing about AI agents. Let's share about AI agents. You see, and that's then you feel like start following trends. And what we did at Inbounder is that we help people capture the best things to share. For example, you have Slack channel where you share all the updates, your daily updates, stand up or whatever that can become content. You had a bug. If you go to my LinkedIn, you will see how many times I mentioned bugs in my tool. And basically, every time I get a bug and fix it, I tell people what I did, what I got, and how I fixed it. And this is what I call authentic. It's like something that you really experience. It's your real life. It just will help you detect that moment and share it in a way that is engaging.
I totally agree with this one. I think that concept, like, I mean, it's like I've seen similar kind of where, for example, founders they share their journey or kind of some content creator. But what if people they don't have such kind of live events? Let's say somebody is not technical, have nothing to talk about, but they want to jump into this. How do you decide what kind of best content they should write? Of course, I do personally think they should by themselves discover that. It's not the tool just help you. But can you unpack that for me or like details how, for
Yeah,
example?
sure. Yeah, what you mentioned is that the starting point is very hard. Like some people don't know what are the content pillars. So when you start creating content, you will define your three to five content pillars, and this like and then you share always about the same thing. If you today you share about coffee and tomorrow you share about I don't know something like completely irrelevant, immigration, like nobody will follow you, nobody will trust you. You're just like trying to share anything, right? So you have to stick to three pillars. Um, so we help our clients, like our EI help our clients define their three pillars based on their all what they have to give is their LinkedIn profile, and with that we help them define their strategy, and also their model will evolve as they evolve. So, like you start sharing about something, but then we figure out that actually your audience like this subject particularly. So now the AI will help you get more of that subject and get you more audience. So it's
That's
but you have to start somewhere. This is the thing.
Yeah, I think when you said like about the subject, like sometimes honestly, like this is like could be like a just like my own opinion. I could be different. Like this is kind of remind me similar algorithm sometimes on Instagram or like, for example, when I like certain, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I could be even disgusted by it. Some Instagram suggest me, and then I watch it too long, is watch time, and then like they
Yep.
start suggesting me the same content. but sometimes honestly, like if they push it too much, I probably don't like it. How do you feel like, how do you distinguish somebody really like, is there like, for example, like you measure also like the sessions, or I don't know how the tech behind this to define
Yeah,
what I like, like for example.
great question. Actually, so at the beginning, we give you some topics to start with that are based on posts that you mentioned before on LinkedIn, posts that you reacted to, your experience, where did you work, and all that. We ask you some questions on during the onboarding, and with that, we are able to give you like an initial suggestions, right? But then start the fun part: how we can make sure that you always get something that is um, authentic to you, and also like that can bring business. But because at the end of the day, people using Inbounder, they want to bring business. It's not just like about posting. Like they don't want to share about their cats, so they want to bring business to their like to their team. So all the topics that you will get, they are reinforced as you go. And every time you, let's say you get a topic, you share, like you share about it. Now we know that you like this topic, and now we give you more because it's related to your LinkedIn, right? How we reinforce it. Also, we have a way to for people to say I like this or I don't like this, so it automatically rank your ideas.
That's uh, that's great. Like speaking of like, for example, ranking ideas, this is probably could be also help me kind of also like as a content creator, like um ranking ideas, like it depends on a lot of factors, and there is kind of a lot of noise, like not just like on LinkedIn. For me personally, also I check like for example X or Twitter. You guys like for example also can cross refer, I mean at this stage I think I see just LinkedIn, but are you for example like planning in future also like to integrate for other like platforms, or even like crawl the internet, or
Yes. So the goal is to be from like to share content in any social media. When you think about it, the difference is very small. It's just like the initial part is to build that AI agent that knows you well. And like when we know you well, whether it's like X or LinkedIn, it doesn't really matter. Like the AI agent will adapt the language and the length and all that, but it's very minor stuff compared to the real problem, which is having the idea that really fits you as a person, but also put it in a way that is authentic and put it in a way that is engaging, right? A lot of people, they don't know how they have a lot of stuff to say. They just don't know how to write it in a way that people engage with it, you see? And so that's like kind of, it's kind of psychology, the like in the, in the background. We
yeah.
analyze, you know, millions of posts from like we get really like to know what post is very viral, like can be viral. And it's not like proposing a template that a viral post is really like a multitude of parameters that make something viral for you but not viral for someone else. Like if you try to copy an influencer and get exactly the same post and post it, it will not be viral for you. But that influencer get like 1,000 reaction, you see. So it's not really like, it depends really on who you are and what kind of network you have.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
totally agree with this one. Since you mentioned about viral posts, like I used like other tools before. Now I stopped them. Like I think good Tapalio, Supergrow, I think Dotty Post, several like of these like tools that could, like, for example, you help you like discover content and then like repurpose it. And I felt like at that time myself like a parrot, like just like basically because repurposing, it's okay. I think it's fine. Like because honestly, like repurposing is one of the thing like we can't actually produce every time like something just, especially if it's about news. Say news pop up about, let's say OpenAI launches something and everybody want to talk about the same thing. I think you mentioned also like each content creator have the taste. If you present it, you propose it like with your own taste plus your opinion, let's say I'm against completely just like repurpose, but you have nothing to add. I think that just like why I don't know. Like can you tell me
Yeah,
like for example the difference between for example like Inbounder and other tools, like as I mentioned some of them, like and how to integrate that taste, even if it's they should come from the creator not from the tool, but what do you think of that?
Yeah, so most of tools we see in the market are chat GPT wrappers. So they take chat GPT, give some prompts, and then like take the viral post and put it and say, okay, rewrite this. It's like it's very simple. So in case anyone want the Tapio or whatever prompts, contact me. I can give it to you. I have all my competitors prompts, and so we analyze it. And so with that, we know how like how all our competitors work, and this is why we started Inboundr, because we know that none of the tools, existing tools, they do what we do. And here's the real difference. Inboundr is an AI agent, and it's not just like ChatGPT wrapper. So when we say AI agent, is really like imagine it as an employee that really like follow you on every step of your life and always propose you topics and knows you really well and continue to learn about you with the time. So it gets your analytics on LinkedIn, gets everything, your team analytics, your company blog, it detect all everything automatically. And with that, it's really like build a knowledge base around you and keep learning from you. And that's what's missing in any other tool. Uh,
That's great. Speaking of that, like when you were like explaining about the AI agent that represent you, or I think some Microsoft like guys they call it the companion, or they at least how they try to promote their copilot. Do you think like in future we'll be reached to a point where we just don't talk to each other, just like our AI agent? Not about Inbounder. This is in general. Imagine this every like Inbounder, like for creating content, discovering content, like let's say each we have a bunch of AI agents. This is just a personal like opinion. What do you think of that topic? Like,
um, I want to say no, but in reality, we are going to that. If you don't do anything, you're gonna be in that environment where AI is talking to AI to solve problems, and you as a person, all your problems is solved by AI. So maybe it's a good thing because you have to focus on your wealth or anything else. You don't have to run after papers, for example. Your AI will fill your papers for you and do all the research for you and all that. I give you a funny example. I have an auntie that used to always call me, like, you know like, give me a recipe today. I don't like. She wanted to talk. So she was like, I will give me a recipe. Now she doesn't ask me. I showed her ChatGPT, and now she asks ChatGPT like, give me a recipe, and like that's how how it is. I think like I start seeing companions, especially for old people, that are very useful because these people want to talk, you know, and like at, I think at a certain point we will solve certain problems, but also we create other problems. For example, for the younger generation who needs to talk more and get more, build their network. I give you an example. Like I see kids right now, like they have maybe one friend, two friends now, and like even in class, they have like 40 people in class. They didn't make that many friends. And it's not just like because of AI; it's about the technology in general. It's like it gets you if you don't use it well, you like you start losing control of your environment and focusing on that is really bad.
I think
Um,
when you mentioned that about like about this problem to society, like I had a friend of mine. He was like asking me like if we built like a startup AI agent also like for dating, like there's like dating apps, kind of all of them useless. I don't use dating apps, but like he was saying like if you build AI agent that swipe for you and initial the conversation, and then if there is a match the human being comes in like. And you also just mentioned that example of like kids don't talk to each other. Like I feel like I don't know if I should be optimistic or pessimistic. I'm kind of pessimistic. Like I don't know. What do you think of this? Like we just I don't know if it's
yeah,
exciting.
I think it's inevitable. Something for sure. It's like it's not something that you as a person you can stop. It's like it's a whole change, and like as a humans we need to adapt. That's that's what we can do. My advice to people: don't let AI replace you. Always like always keep AI as an assistant, not your master. I see especially devs. I'm a developer. I see some devs who they don't like. let AI do their job. At the end, they lose their own skill. They just like rely on AI, and that's really bad because when you think about it, you like you learn by practicing. If you don't practice, if you let AI do anything for you, like at certain point, you may get the result you want, but you will not build the skill. That's as a human, that's what you need to get more value, like to be more valuable on the society, right? So my advice: try to learn the skills that AI cannot do for anyone. Like one of it is like build your personal brand. Advice I give to anyone. I personally like had a friend Sean was my co-founder pushing me to do it, and actually I was like, culturally speaking, I'm not the guy who shows, you know. So and especially that I'm a technical, so I'm more focused on like code and stuff. So social media is not my thing. And he's been like pushing me, like build like create content. I will review your content. That's actually what people need. A little bit like push to build their personal brand, because that's the only thing that AI cannot replace is your personal. Yeah, so that try to build personal brand as soon as possible before it's too late. Because in a year from now or 2 years from now, you don't have to write CV. People will check your LinkedIn. People will check your social media in general. So to find a job, you don't need CV. You need a personal brand. And actually, to be honest with you, it's already the key. All the CV and recruiter, I would say cinema. It's just like in reality, people take recruit the people who are referred to them, and the people who get referred are the people who show up more often. That's the reality.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I would give you this. I shouldn't give you the same advice, but like I totally agree with Sean. Like I was the same. Like and honestly, you could do it. Like I'm a scientist. I was like in academia. Like when I left, like I never created. Before I make videos and like on Instagram or YouTube, I had to make 300 videos. I never actually posted them, and then like just like to watch myself. Our first video was like discussing my. I'm and then like no I can't call myself a content creator, but just like I'm not like I just post stuff. Like there is some sort of fear I had to go through, and I was completely like just from the lab. I never posted anything. I never even took a selfie,
Yeah.
like interviewing people, talking like this. I never. I was just like academic person. So I agree with you with this one. So this one, I think the advice is not just content creator personal, but I think it's advice to founders. What other? So this leads me to next question. What advice do you give, for example, the founders or people like who want to build, um, you know, a company like because this kind of I have founders, and then like basically my audience, a lot of technical people, AI people. What advice you give them, like future founders?
My advice is that sell before you build. One like my first two startups failed because I built before selling. And then I learned that actually you can sell something that doesn't exist. And so many, yeah, I did. It's stupid, but I never, no, nobody told me before I realized. And so basically, if you want to build something, don't go and like just like start coding, etc. Go search for the customer, people you think that they may be interested in your product. Give them like even a fake video of like what you want to do, and ask them like, do you want to buy this? Like, is it something that you're really interested in? And you'll see how many people say no. Then you like probably you realize that most of the ideas you get are not ideas that can be a company or product. So yeah, keep doing this until you find a product like something that people really like show like interest, and or not just interest, they keep asking you. Like I remember when we started Inboundr, we had the video, so we sent the video to all the content managers in all the companies, and I got basically the content manager of Deloitte. Deloitte, the
Hmm,
consultant company,
a big one.
and he was like, you contact me on the right moment because we start training all our C-level people on content creation. I was like, wow, I didn't know that. I will never know before asking. Now we start like, and we get all the feedback from all the big companies, and they all start training their employees on content creation. You know, and that's how we do it. Like that's why we built Inboundr as a B2B. So now it's almost the only tool in content creation for B2B businesses. And so that's what I mean. Like, ask for feedback before you build, because probably you will build something that nobody needs if you don't do so.
I totally get this. Like, I mean, and I've been there. Like, I've been there. I think we all did mistakes,
We
whether we
all
are like technical or not. I think it's just like it's like we live in a lot of founders. Like when we start, like I don't know, live sort of
yeah.
in our own bubble. I think it just and you know what's more funny? Like you see it over and over. You still like see. Sometimes I talk to some people, and then
I,
they still like,
same thing
I
here.
am
I gave this advice to so many people around me. They still do the same thing, and like I was like, what can I do to, like, maybe like, now some people, like, they really need to learn it the hard way. Some people get it from the beginning. You tell them, it's okay. I will apply this. Some people get like want to learn it the hard way, and they spend like 50K and, like, all their savings on a product, but nobody
time.
applies it.
And
Which is sad. Which is very sad. But it's part of the learning. I think.
it is, yeah, yeah. Like I think they will get it at some point. Hopefully they don't give up before like their journey, not give up the startup. I think giving up startup is happen.
That's the most. Like, that's the real, like, the people who really, like, lose all their savings. Their chances to get back to the business world is very low.
Mm,
Um, so, like, and, if you imagine, if you're like now poor, you cannot build anything. You just like back to your salary, and you don't want to lose your salary again. Like, you get vaccinated, I would say,
right.
against entrepreneurship. But if you do
It
it
is.
smart, then you can you know business is really about, like, long term. Like, you will not get like the best idea from the beginning. Like, it's by iterating and iterating that you get like the best ideas and get the what we call product market fit. And if you just give up from the first idea, like, then, like, probably you will lose.
Oh, that's yeah. That I totally agree with this one. Hatem, like just before, like we close with a fire chat, like just like, can you tell us like what you see like in Boundary in the next 2 years? Like, what's like the vision? What's kind of
Great question. We started building an AI video editor. So for people who are very shy in front of the camera, like me, I never like, if you go to my LinkedIn, I never posted a video of myself ever. Just because of it's not because I like, most people don't like to hear the sound, like their
yeah, yeah.
voice.
I've been there. Yeah.
So it's very hard to start doing videos. So we have been doing content with text. We have really, like, the best AI agent for content creation when it comes to text. But when it comes to videos, there's none of the tools out there will teach you how to create a short video, for example, for your audience. So that's something we are building. Like, it's gonna be launched next month, and we have more coming. But that's mainly like the roadmap for the next quarter.
Yeah, like I think like I think recently like where I was watching like an interview, like was it in Harvard, like Aravind, like the CEO of Perplexity, and he was talking about I think he got the same question about like in 2 years time or like in the future, and he said like he can't plan with this, especially with AI. Like I think every quarter he make his roadmap, like just discuss within quarter, every just like very dynamic. Things change very fast. So Hatem, like we just gonna end up with a fire chat. Like so, is that okay? Like just like I give you one question and just you answer like in a short, maybe one phrase or a couple words. Like, does that sound right?
That's right. Yeah.
Awesome. So what's the future of AI?
Nobody knows. If someone tells you that the future of AI is lying.
Yeah, like that's I think we're all guessing for this one. Second question, like what's your favorite tool, AI tool, not yours?
Um, right. So the one I use the most, ChatGPT, because it's
Okay,
it's the
that's
tool that
that's
they
fair.
have.
That's fair.
My favorite one, my favorite one is Claude. Um, Claude, I prefer
Claude.
Claude over
Oh,
ChatGPT. Yeah.
I think Claude. I think because you're a technical person these days, like with Gemini, like 2.5, like what do you think? Like people like saying it's
Mhm.
better. Like, have you tried both? Like, I mean, compared.
I use the three of them in my startup. So I think Gemini also is good. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like too late to the game, so I didn't have chance to be like I didn't like all now Claude and OpenAI training the model on your what you said before, so it's more adapted to me. And this is
Mm-hmm.
more actually more like something about products. If you want to build a product that gets the data and build kind of a data more around your product. So people like if people change the product, they will lose all that training that happened to your model. So with that, they have less chance to move from ChatGPT to Claude to Gemini. Moving is like losing all your customization basically. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the tricky part about.
Yeah, for sure. Like especially with a lot of actors every time popping up, like, and sometimes probably even beside this kind of memory or like you were talking about, probably like just like you just get familiar. Like I honestly like probably now I'm opening several like tabs from like DeepSeek, Grok, like ChatGPT, Gemini, like, and then sometimes I compare with each other. Sometimes I get tired, I start closing them. Sometimes I pop them again. I have like separate bookmarks for them. So next question, like, what's the biggest problem in AI or like problem in the world that you wish it was solved with AI? I think like some people they dream about solving cancer or like, what about you?
I would say, poverty. If AI can make all of us, at least in the medium class, that's gonna be perfect for me because that's the biggest problem of this world is inequity between people. We had like, and I have a feeling that AI is gonna do exactly the opposite. So people who really like master AI, they will be much richer than uh, poor people who don't have access to it. Yeah, I wish that AI is more democratized and more, I would say, more useful for poor people. People who want to build stuff and build companies and become, stay in the salary without, having millions in the bank account. Like the good thing is that with AI, you don't have to recruit like a floor of engineers. All what you need is a model, and an old PC. I think that's what excites me about it. I see really like kids making thousands of dollars just by using AI, and but I don't have a feeling that the education for poor people is following. Like I think if like the society, if like the knowledge about AI is democratized, we'll see like less and less difference. They're looking out. And I think China and US start educating their kids in school just this week. They decided to start educating the kids around AI, and probably that's why they don't want to lose that game.
Yeah, like I think education is very important. Like I totally agree with this. Like especially sometimes like when you go off LinkedIn or Twitter or and like you being kind of every day, like for example, absorbing these news, upskilling myself, like learning every time, and then you talk to, for example, I talk to my family and I'm like, I know you start thinking
They
about like other like it's not like about beyond. I think we still didn't see the gap of like getting richer because of AI, but just like in gap in knowledge. Like I feel like I am more like 10x than how I was 2 years ago. Like learning more stuff, not just about just chatting with ChatGPT, but just because creating content like every day. Like I'm absorbing news, applying them. Like I'm more better coding, better like it's like many kind of my skills. Like I'm better in social media, better like in kind of coding, like better in many things. I do things faster. I do kind of more product. when I see some people like they, oh AI, oh I see, I've heard of it, like, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's, and I think that's the biggest mistake people will do right now. And if you hear about AI and you say it's like it's just like a new trend, you're completely wrong.
yeah,
It's gonna change your life. It's gonna cost you a lot if you don't learn it.
mm,
If you lose your job, you may get tricked by AI. You may like people master AI before it masters you. That's my advice. If you don't use it, you're probably like losing competitiveness. Mm, Without that, you'll probably lose anything you do, whether in school, business, your day-to-day life is like imagine that you don't have Google Maps. You know, like you still like trying to guess roads. And Google Maps is all based on AI, by the way.
yeah.
Tells you and which way to take and all that. And so like use it in a useful way, um, and it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, yeah, like Hatem, thank you so much for your time. And like this is like comes to end of the show, guys. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be tagging like Hatem and like his company Inboundr. Go give it a try. Like, especially like if you want to increase your sales or even you learn content marketing or like be kind of a better content marketer. Hatem, any last word you want to say, kind of to our audience?
Yeah, thanks for having me, and hopefully, like because of this, more people build their personal brand. If you need help, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much.